So yeah, we are in Miami. We didn't film anything last night because when we got here last night, it was like 8 o'clock, which was later than we meant to get here because we hit a lot of traffic. And then things did not really go to plan because our room wasn't ready when we got here. They had some issue with the AC and they had to fix it, which ended up, you know, they took really good care of us. They paid for like our drinks. They paid for our first night here. They waived our resort fee. So they did a lot for us to make up for it, but we did have to wait. So we ended up eating dinner at like their restaurant and it wasn't very good in my opinion. Robert got a sandwich that admittedly was good, but I ordered a salad and I thought it'd be like a nice salad and it was just like romaine with a few veggies thrown on it and like barely any dressing and like some dry chicken on top. But anyway, we're gonna go get breakfast.
After leaving our hotel, we went down Ocean Drive to Big Pink where I got chicken and waffles and Linnea got a lox bagel. Chicken and waffles were absolutely delicious and they were an extremely large portion, even though it was just a breakfast meal or a brunch meal. It could have honestly been a dinner portion at most restaurants, and it was a great way to start the day and probably the most economical and tastiest meal we had the entirety of our time on Miami Beach. After this, we headed for the Art Deco district.
It's Robert, he's being Roberty.
As we walked up Ocean Drive past a bunch of historical Art Deco hotels, we decided to stop at the Art Deco Museum. Ultimately, it was kind of an underwhelming museum, but it was really fascinating to learn the history of how a small movement of invested locals preserved the historical architecture of Miami Beach rather than letting it get turned into soulless condos like everywhere else in the US. A few blocks down the road, we found the World Erotic Art Museum, which was vastly more interesting. Initially, the museum seemed pretty tame because it seemed to focus on the work of Dr. Alfred Kinsey in studying human sexual behavior in the US, including his concept of the Kinsey scale of human sexuality. In addition to his work, it also focused on the work of Magnus Hirschfeld, a Jewish homosexual physician from pre-Nazi Germany whose Institute for Research on Human Sexual Behavior was destroyed by Nazi rioters who persecuted him for his ethnic and sexual identity. However, we turned a corner and the museum became much less tame. We got to the Lincoln Road Mall and decided that we wanted to get water, and we went into dirtiest Haagen-Dazs of our entire life, where we had hoped to get ice cream, but we ended up leaving with water and thankfully our intact intestinal microbiome. After getting hydrated, we stopped by an experimental product display place called Showfields that showcased a variety of products ranging from non-alcoholic spirit alternatives to various CBD essential oils to male intimate deodorants.
And it was basically displaying all these little startups that had ecological or health-related themes. There was a whole range of male body care products for good-smelling balls, which we found hilarious. There were different types of clothing brands that had, again, like ecological themes to them. And then we also got to slide down this giant slide inside the store, which was very, very fun. Robert and I both slid down it. And then from there, we got some delicious gelato that had like little pieces of chocolate in. I think it was some sort of Italian flavor. It tasted like sweet milk with little pieces of chocolate. It was delicious.
How often do you see a t-shirt with a golden teddy bear embossed on it?
Not that often.
From Milan.
My favorite part about the Lincoln Road Mall was the fashion. All the different stores had so many unique pieces that were unlike things that we've seen in other sort of fashion district type areas, such as when we were in Hawaii for our honeymoon. It was a lot of designer stores, but all of them had boring clothing and it was all like 20 or 30 things in a store. Whereas in these stores, there were just like hundreds of different unique pieces in every single store. So it was just super, super fun to window shop and look at everything. It was honestly almost overwhelming. There was so much to look at and it was just a really, really good time. Do you want to go into the gallery? Sure.
After leaving the art gallery where the owner was playing the piano aggressively, we moved to a second gallery where the art revolved around using metal as one of the elements of the art piece. excluding, ironically, a series of clocks that were made exclusively out of wood. The owner of the second gallery almost wouldn't let us leave without buying something because we noticed a print of a piece that we had appreciated previously in Hawaii of a hummingbird made out of like gold foil, and it was really interesting and we seriously considered buying it. On the drive into Miami, Linnea had floated the idea of getting paella at a restaurant called Tapelia that she saw advertised online. That was one of the worst mistakes we made on the entire trip to Miami. We arrived at the restaurant and we decided to get a vegetable paella. Kind of disappointing. We also got a pot of mussels, which were delicious, and a very nice cocktail for Linnea. But we spent about an hour waiting for paella for extremely bland, very tasteless, expensive paella. Left us hungry, and then we were subject to a scam where the waitress claimed that the 20% service charge didn't include gratuity, so we probably ended up tipping 40 to 50% on a meal of greasy paella with slow service that left us feeling hungry. Afterwards, we went out to Publix to get snacks for the rest of the night and for supplies to go into the Everglades the following morning, and then we went to bed.